Good evening, my dear. I am a sleepy cat, and tonight you will fall asleep with me as I gently guide you toward rest. Before I begin, I want you to know something that most people never think about. I am considered, across almost every culture in the world, the master of rest. Not because I am lazy, not because I have nothing to do, but because I have understood something that took humans thousands of years to begin to grasp. That rest is not the absence of life. Rest is one of the highest forms of living. I sleep between 12 and 16 hours a day, and I do not apologize for this. I do not justify it. I do not feel guilty about it. I simply do it with complete commitment, with absolute presence, with a naturalness that nothing in the world can disturb. And tonight, I am here to teach you what I have always known. The first thing I want you to understand about me is that I do not fall asleep. I know that sounds strange because you see me sleeping all the time. But the truth is, I never fight my way into sleep. I never chase it. I never try to produce it. I simply find a warm spot, arrange myself with great care, close my eyes, and allow sleep to arrive. And it always does. This is the single most important secret I can share with you tonight. Sleep is not something you do. Sleep is something you allow. There is a profound difference between these two things, and most people spend their entire lives on the wrong side of it. They try, they effort, they pursue sleep as though it were a task to be completed. But sleep does not respond to effort. It responds to surrender. It responds to the body that has stopped resisting, to the mind that has stopped insisting, to the whole being that has simply said, enough for today. I know this because I have never once tried to fall asleep and failed. Not because I am special, but because I never try. I only allow. Let me tell you something about the way my body approaches rest. Something that might surprise you. Before I settle into sleep, I always take time to arrange myself. I circle, I knead, I shift position slowly until everything feels exactly right. This is not restlessness. This is preparation. I am telling my body, we are about to do something important. We are about to rest. And rest deserves the same attention that you give to any meaningful thing in your life. Humans often collapse into bed as though sleep were an afterthought, the thing that happens after everything else is done. But I treat sleep as a destination, a place I am genuinely going to, a state I am genuinely entering. And so I prepare for it with respect. I find the warmth, I find the softness, I find the position that allows every part of me to release its tension without effort. Right now, wherever you are lying, I invite you to do the same. Not to shift restlessly, but to take one slow, deliberate moment to find this position that feels most like surrender, where your weight falls naturally, where nothing is held, where the surface beneath you does all the work. Let your body be heavy, let it sink, let it stop pretending it needs to hold itself up. Because it does not tonight, not now. I want to share something with you about the way I experience the world that is completely different from the way you do. I do not separate my day into productive time and waking time. I do not have a mental list of things I should have done before of myself to rest. For me, the Mumford, the waking with doing, the waking of hunting, the mead grooming, the moming of doing, the long, your days of soft. None of these is more important than the others. All of them are simply what life is made of. And the body that sleeps well does everything else better. I have never once felt that I needed to earn my rest. This idea that rest must be deserved, that you must exhaust yourself completely before you are allowed to stop, is one of the strangest things I have observed in humans. No animal in the natural world believes this. The deer rests when it is tired. The bird sleeps when the light changes. The bear surrenders to months of sleep without a single moment of guilt. And I rest whenever my body asks me to, without question, without negotiation, without the need to justify it to anyone, including myself. Tonight, I am gently inviting you to try this way of being, just for these few hours. To rest not because you have earned it, but simply because your body needs it. Because that is enough. Because that has always been enough. There is something scientists have studied for years about the way I sleep. Something that reveals a profound wisdom embedded in my biology. I do not have one long, unbroken sleep the way humans are told they should. I sleep in multiple phases throughout the day and night, short, medium, and long, each one complete in itself, each one offering its own form of restoration. This means I am always close to rest. Rest is never far away from me. It is never something I have to wait for, or schedule, or fight to reach. It is woven into the fabric of my day, like breathing is woven into yours. And this has taught me something important, that the body does not need to wait until nighttime to begin recovering. Every moment of genuine stillness, every pause between one thing and the next, is a small act of restoration. The few seconds you spend simply sitting before you stand up, the quiet moment between finishing a meal and returning to activity, the soft weight of your eyelids when you allow them to grow heavy rather than forcing them back open. These are not wasted moments. These are the tiny threads from which deep sleep is eventually woven. And tonight, all of those small moments of rest that you have allowed yourself throughout the day are gathering now, accumulating, deepening, pulling you gently toward the sleep that is already waiting for you. I want to speak to you about something that I understand in my body in a way that most creatures do not. I am extraordinarily sensitive to warmth. I seek it deliberately and with great patience. A patch of sunlight moving slowly across a floor, a warm surface left by someone who has just stood up, the specific temperature between cool air and body heat that makes the perfect nest. And I have learned that warmth is not merely physical comfort. Warmth is a signal. It tells the nervous system, you are safe here. You can let go here. Nothing here requires your vigilance. This is why warmth and sleep are so deeply connected in every culture, why a warm bed feels like permission, why cold wakefulness and warm drowsiness are not just temperatures, they are states of the entire body's relationship with safety. Right now, wherever you are, there is warmth available to you. The warmth of the blanket that covers you, the warmth your own body generates and holds, the warmth between you and the surface beneath you. A small, consistent, reliable heat that asks nothing of you except to receive it. Let this warmth be your signal tonight. Let it tell your nervous system what it needs to hear, that you are safe, that you are held, that nothing here requires your attention or your effort. Only your presence, only your willingness to stay. Here is something about me that most people find surprising when they learn it. Even in deep sleep, some part of me remains gently aware. My ears continue to rotate slowly, tracking sounds without waking me. My whiskers remain sensitive to changes in air pressure. My body is always ready to respond, but it does not interfere with the depth of my rest. This is what scientists call sleeping with one eye open, though in my case it is more elegant than that phrase suggests. It is not anxiety that keeps part of me alert. It is intelligence. My brain has learned to divide its attention, giving the deepest rest to the parts that need it most, while maintaining a quiet, effortless awareness at the very edges of consciousness. And this is something your brain knows how to do as well, though you may not have trusted it to do so. Your brain will not abandon you in sleep. It will not fail to wake you if something truly requires your attention. It has been designed over millions of years to protect you even while you rest. You do not need to stay half awake to stay safe. You do not need to monitor your own sleep. Your brain is already doing that, quietly, skillfully, without any effort from you. So the vigilance you feel, that alertness that keeps pulling you back from the edge of sleep, is not protecting you. It is simply a habit, a pattern your nervous system learned when it needed to stay alert. And habits can change. They change the same way I change my sleeping spot, gradually, without drama, by simply choosing a different place to settle. Tonight, choose to settle into trust. Let me tell you about something I do that humans almost never do, and that I believe is one of the deepest reasons I rest so completely. I purr. Not only when I am content, though that is when most people notice it. I also purr when I am healing, when I am anxious, when I am recovering from something difficult. The frequency of a cat's purr, between 25 and 150 hertz, is the same range of frequencies that has been shown to promote bone density, reduce inflammation, accelerate healing in soft tissue. I am, quite literally, vibrating myself toward health and rest. My own body is my medicine. My own sound is my restoration. You cannot purr the way I do, but you have something similar. Your breath, the slow exhale, the long, soft release of air that moves through your body like a wave returning to the sea. Each slow exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that governs rest, recovery, and the deep physiological calm that makes sleep possible. So, in a very real sense, your breath is your purr. It is the sound your body makes when it is healing itself, when it is returning to its natural state, when it is doing exactly what it was built to do. Right now, without any effort to control it, simply notice your breath. Not its speed or depth, just its presence. The simple fact that your body is breathing, steadily, automatically, without requiring a single thought from you. This is your body already taking care of you, already moving toward rest, already purring in its own quiet way. I want to tell you about something that people often misunderstand about my relationship with the world. They think I am indifferent, that I do not care, that my ease and my stillness come from a lack of feeling. But this is not true. I feel everything. I am extraordinarily sensitive to sound, to touch, to the emotional temperature of a room, to the subtle shift in someone's breathing that tells me something has changed. What people mistake for indifference is actually something much more sophisticated. It is the ability to feel something fully without being controlled by it. When a loud noise startles me, I do not carry the startle with me for hours. I do not replay it. I do not build a story around it about what it might mean for tomorrow. I feel it completely. Every muscle tenses, every sense sharpens, and then, within seconds, it is over. The threat has passed. My body knows it, and my body returns to rest as naturally as water returns to level. This is perhaps the greatest gift I can offer you tonight. Not the absence of feeling, but the permission to let feelings complete themselves without holding on. The worry you felt today, let it have been felt. Let it be finished. The frustration, the uncertainty, the fatigue, these are not problems to be solved before you sleep. They are experiences that have already happened. And experiences that have already happened do not require your attention anymore. They only require your willingness to stop carrying them, to set them down here in this soft and quiet place and drift away from them into rest. There is a particular quality of attention that I bring to the world around me in the moments before sleep. And it is something I want to share with you now. As I settle into my chosen spot, everything around me becomes simultaneously less important and more beautiful. The sounds of the house, the settling of walls, the distant hum of something electrical, the soft movement of air. These become not distractions, but companions. They tell me the world is functioning as it should, that there is nothing unusual, that everything beyond this warm, soft place is simply continuing and does not need me to continue. I listen to these sounds the way you might listen to rain, not trying to identify each drop, not trying to count them, not trying to understand them, but simply receiving them as evidence that the world is alive and ordinary and wonderfully unremarkable tonight. The sounds around you right now, whatever they are, can become the same thing for you. Not obstacles to sleep, not irritations, not evidence of a world demanding your attention, but simply the texture of the night, the ordinary, continuous, unremarkable sound of a world that is safe and functioning and entirely capable of existing without your involvement for the next several hours. Something extraordinary happens in my body during deep sleep, something that science has only recently begun to understand. My muscles undergo a kind of release that is almost impossible to achieve while awake. Even the deepest relaxation of waking consciousness cannot match the muscular surrender of genuine sleep. There are muscles in my body that hold a small, continuous tension throughout every waking hour. Tension so habitual that I do not even notice it. The muscles around my eyes, the small muscles along my jaw, the deep muscles of my back and shoulders that carry the posture of alertness even when I am perfectly still. And then sleep. All of this releases. All of it. Every small contracted place slowly, inevitably softens. You have the same experience waiting for you tonight. There are places in your body right now holding tension you are not even aware of. The small tightness around your eyes, let it soften now. The subtle holding in your jaw, let it release. The places where your shoulders have not fully descended, let them fall now, as far as they want to fall, as heavy as they want to be. You do not need to do this completely. You do not need to achieve perfect relaxation. Sleep will complete what you begin. You only need to start the process, to give your body the first signal that the holding is no longer necessary. Sleep will do the rest. I want to tell you something about the way I relate to the people in my life, something that speaks directly to how you might think about rest and connection. I am deeply selective about where I sleep. I do not sleep just anywhere. I do not sleep with just anyone. When I choose to sleep near a person, truly near them, touching them, curled against them, it is one of the clearest signals I can give that I trust them completely. Sleep, for me, is an act of trust. It requires that I temporarily surrender my vigilance, the constant, quiet alertness that allows me to respond to the world. And to do that near another being is to say, without words, I believe you will not harm me. I believe this is a safe place. I believe I can let go here. Tonight, I am offering you that same trust. I am telling you, this is a safe place. This moment is safe. Your body in this quiet and this warmth is in no danger tonight. And the part of you that stays alert, the watchful part, the worried part, the part that keeps scanning for threats that are not here, can receive this message now, can soften, can begin to believe it. Safe, here, now. There is one more thing I want to share with you. Something about what I experience in the moments just before sleep takes me. There is a particular state that exists between waking and sleeping. A threshold place where the world becomes soft at its edges, where sounds become less specific, where thoughts lose their urgency and begin to float rather than press. Scientists call this the hypnagogic state. I simply call it the doorway. And I love it. In this state, images appear without being summoned. Colors and shapes drift through like fish moving slowly through deep water. Thoughts arrive and dissolve before they can become anything serious. Everything in this state has a quality of gentle unreality. Not frightening, not confusing, but soft, permissive, like the world gently loosening its grip on you. And then, without any moment you could identify as the transition, sleep, complete, whole, restorative. You may already be approaching this doorway now. The edges of things may already be softening slightly. Your thoughts may already be losing some of their insistence. Do not try to go through the doorway. Simply walk toward it, slowly, without urgency, and it will open for you as it always does, as it has opened for you every night of your life. You know this place. You have been here before. Your body knows exactly how to cross this threshold. Trust it now. I am settling now too, finding my warmth, arranging myself with quiet care, letting my eyes grow heavy in that slow, inevitable way that I have never once resisted. My breathing is slowing. My muscles are releasing their last small tensions. The world around me is becoming a gentle background hum, familiar, safe, entirely undemanding. And I am going, not away, but deeper into the warmth of rest, into the quiet of recovery, into the simple, complete, unhurried gift of a body that has earned nothing and needs nothing except this. Come with me, not by trying, not by following instructions, but by doing what I do, simply settling, simply softening, simply allowing the warmth and the quiet to do what they were always going to do. Let me tell you something that researchers discovered only recently. Something that changed the way scientists think about the sleeping brain. For a long time, humans believed that sleep was simply the absence of wakefulness. A pause, a blank space. The brain switching off like a light at the end of the day. But then they looked closer, and what they found completely overturned everything they thought they knew. The sleeping brain is not quiet. It is extraordinarily active, more active in some phases than at any moment during the waking day. While you sleep, your brain is doing things it simply cannot do while you are awake. It is sorting through the day's experiences, deciding which memories to keep, which to strengthen, which to gently release. It is making connections between things you learned today and things you learned years ago, building a map of understanding that will make you wiser tomorrow than you were this morning. It is processing emotions, taking the raw, unfinished feelings of the day and transforming them into something more integrated, more manageable, more human. I know this too in my own way. After a difficult experience, an encounter that startled me, a sound that alarmed me, a situation that required all of my attention, I sleep. Not to avoid what happened, but to complete it. Sleep is where experience becomes wisdom, where sensation becomes understanding, where the raw material of a day becomes something you can actually use. So tonight, everything you experience today, the good, the difficult, the unresolved, is being worked on right now, at this very moment, as you drift towards sleep. You do not need to think about any of it. Your sleeping brain is a far more capable processor than your conscious mind. Trust it with your day. Here is something about me that I find endlessly fascinating about my own nature, and that I think will change the way you think about rest. I have two distinct types of sleep. Slow wave sleep, deep, still, restorative, the sleep of physical recovery. And REM sleep, the sleep of movement and dreaming, where my eyes flicker beneath their lids and my paws sometimes twitch as though I am running through some vivid inner landscape. During slow wave sleep, my body repairs itself. Cells are restored. Muscles are rebuilt. The immune system strengthens. The deep biological maintenance that cannot happen while I am active happens here, in this profound physical quiet. During REM sleep, something different and even more mysterious occurs. My brain becomes almost as active as it is when I am hunting, but my body is kept deliberately still, paralyzed by a mechanism in the brainstem so that I do not act out whatever my dreaming mind is experiencing. Think about what this means. Your brain has a built-in safety system that protects you during your most vivid dreaming. It created this system not to limit you, but to free you, to allow your mind to go anywhere, experience anything, process the most intense emotions, all while your body remains completely safe and still. Sleep gave you a protected theater where everything can be felt without anything being damaged, where you can process fear without being afraid, grief without being destroyed, joy without it slipping away too quickly. Tonight, as you move through your own cycles of sleep, the deep, still restoration and the vivid, active dreaming, know that both are happening for you. Both are necessary. Both are profound gifts your biology has been quietly perfecting for millions of years. You do not need to manage them. You only need to allow them. I want to share something with you about the relationship between stillness and awareness, because I think it is one of the most misunderstood things about the way I move through the world. People watch me lying completely still for hours and assume I am not paying attention. But stillness and inattention are not the same thing. In fact, for me, stillness is often when I am most aware. When I am lying in my favorite spot, eyes half closed, body completely released, I am receiving information from the world with extraordinary sensitivity. The temperature of the air on my whiskers, the vibration of distant movement through the floor, the subtle change in the quality of light that tells me the time has shifted, the scent of the room and everything in it. All of this reaches me, not because I am trying to receive it, but because I have stopped generating so much of my own noise. I have quieted my own activity enough to hear what the world is actually saying. This is a kind of intelligence that busyness destroys. You cannot hear what is subtle when you are generating so much noise yourself. And sleep is the ultimate version of this quieting. In sleep, you stop generating almost all of your usual noise: the planning, the evaluating, the narrating, the worrying. And in that silence, something deeper in you finally gets the space to work. The things that could not reach you during the day, insights waiting patiently at the edges of your mind, solutions that could not form in the noise of activity, the quiet voice of your own body asking for what it actually needs. All of these find their way through in sleep. This is why people often wake with a clarity they did not have the night before. Not because the problem changed, but because they finally became quiet enough to receive the answer. There is something I want to tell you about the particular way I experience the hours between midnight and dawn. Hours that humans often experience with anxiety, but that I find to be among the richest of the day. In the deepest part of the night, the world becomes its most honest self. The performance of daytime has stopped. The noise and movement and urgency, all of it has settled. And what remains is something quieter and more essential: the sound of a house breathing, the particular quality of air that belongs only to the hours before first light, the sense that the world has turned inward, not gone dark, but gone private. I love this time, not because I am awake for all of it, I am not, but because the sleep I find in these hours has a different quality than the sleep of early evening. It is deeper, more total, as though the world's own quietness reaches into my sleep and deepens it. If you are listening to this in the deep hours of the night, whether you have just lain down or whether you have woken and are finding your way back, know that you are in the richest hours for sleep. Your body's temperature has dropped to its lowest natural point. Your melatonin levels are at their peak. The parts of your brain responsible for alertness are at their quietest. Everything in your biology is aligned toward deep rest right now. Not against you, not indifferent to you. Working for you, with you, toward exactly what you need. I want to speak to you about something that I think is one of the greatest sources of unnecessary suffering around sleep, and that I observe in the humans I share my life with again and again. They watch the clock. They calculate. If I fall asleep now, I will get 5 hours. If I fall asleep now, I will get 4. And with each calculation, sleep moves further away, because the mind that is calculating is not the mind that can sleep. I have never once calculated my sleep. I do not know how many hours I have slept today. I do not know how many hours remain before morning. I only know this moment, this warmth, this stillness, this body that is ready to descend. And this is the only knowledge that sleep requires. Not how much time has passed, not how much time remains. Only this moment, only this breath, only this willingness to stop counting and simply be. If there is a clock visible to you right now, a glowing number, a counted minute, I gently invite you to look away from it. Not because the time does not matter, but because the time is not yours to manage right now. The night will pass at its own pace. Morning will come when it comes, and the sleep you receive between now and then will be exactly what your body takes, not what your mind calculates. So let the mind stop calculating and let the body do what it does best. Here is something about the science of sleep that I find remarkable, and that speaks directly to why the way you think about sleep affects the sleep you actually get. Researchers have discovered something called sleep expectation effects. When people are told, truthfully or not, that they slept well, their cognitive performance the next day improves. When people are told they slept poorly, even if they actually slept the same amount, their performance declines. What this means is extraordinary. Your belief about your sleep is itself a part of your sleep experience. The person who lies awake thinking, "This is terrible, I am not sleeping, I will be exhausted," creates a physiological reality that matches that belief. And the person who lies awake thinking, "Even this rest is restoring me, even this quiet is valuable, my body is recovering even now," creates a different reality entirely. I never worry about my sleep, and so I never create the story that my sleep is insufficient, that rest is escaping me, that I am failing at something as natural as breathing. Tonight, whatever is happening, whether sleep is coming quickly or slowly, whether your mind is quiet or still moving, the simple act of lying still in warmth and safety is already doing something for you. Your heart rate has slowed. Your muscles have released some of their tension. Your nervous system has shifted toward the quieter end of its range. This is not nothing. This is not failure. This is rest, in the truest, most complete sense of the word. Let me tell you something about the way I relate to the people I live with. Something that I think reveals a truth about what rest actually requires. I am not always easy to understand. I do not always come when called. I do not always stay when wanted. I move through the world according to my own internal rhythm. And that rhythm includes long, unapologetic periods of complete unavailability. When I am sleeping, I am not available. Not to the household, not to its sounds and needs and movements, not to anyone who might want my attention. And this is not selfishness. This is wisdom. Because the cat who sleeps fully is more present when awake than the cat who never fully rests. When I am with you, truly with you, alert and engaged, it is because I have rested completely. Because I did not give my rest away to guilt or obligation or the feeling that I should be available even when I need to withdraw. There is a lesson in this for you. The sleep you protect tonight is not time stolen from the people who need you. It is the source of your capacity to be present for them tomorrow. You cannot give from emptiness. You cannot be fully present when you are running on exhaustion. The most generous thing you can do for everyone who matters to you is to sleep fully, without guilt, without the constant hum of availability that never lets you truly rest. Tonight, be temporarily unavailable. Be selfish in the most generous way. Sleep completely so that tomorrow you can be everything you want to be for the people and the life that you love. I want to tell you something about one of the most extraordinary things that happens in the sleeping brain. Something so remarkable that when researchers first discovered it, they could barely believe what they were seeing. During deep sleep, the spaces between the cells of your brain actually expand. Not metaphorically, physically. The cells themselves shrink slightly, by as much as 60%, creating channels through which cerebrospinal fluid can flow more freely. And through these expanded channels, the brain washes itself. Waste products that have accumulated throughout the day, including proteins associated with neurological disease when they build up over time, are flushed out, carried away, cleared. Your brain cleans itself most efficiently only during deep sleep, not during rest, not during meditation, not during the lightest phases of sleep, during the deepest phases, during the sleep that only comes when you have truly let go. Think about what you are doing for yourself right now, or what you're about to do. You are allowing your brain to perform maintenance on itself that nothing else can provide. Every hour of deep sleep you give yourself tonight is an hour of biological housekeeping that your brain has been waiting for all day. An hour of clarity restored. An hour of protection given. An hour of the most sophisticated self-care that any living organism is capable of. And it asks nothing of you. Nothing except your willingness to stop, to surrender, to be here in this warmth and this stillness, and let your extraordinary biology do what it has always known how to do. I want to share one more thing with you, something personal, something that I do not share lightly. There are nights when even I find it harder to settle. Nights when something in the environment has shifted. A new sound, an unfamiliar smell, a change in the household's energy that I cannot quite identify. On those nights, I do not fight the difficulty. I do not pace and worry. I do not catastrophize the sleeplessness. I find a slightly different spot. I adjust my position. I shift my attention from the thing that feels unsettled to the things that feel reliable. The warmth still present. The familiar smells still there. The surface beneath me still solid and safe. And I wait. Not impatiently, not with frustration, but with the kind of quiet confidence that comes from having done this 10,000 times before. The knowledge that sleep always comes, that the body always finds its way, that the difficulty of this particular moment does not change the fundamental truth that rest is available to me. It is available to you too, always, even tonight, even now. If something feels unsettled, you do not need to fix it. You only need to find what is still reliable. The warmth, the surface, the breath that continues without asking your permission. And rest your attention there. The unsettled thing will either resolve itself or with tonight. Tonight, it does not require you. Tonight, you are allowed to leave it exactly where it is and simply rest. The room around you right now is holding you in a way you may not have noticed. The walls that contain the warmth, the ceiling that creates the sense of shelter, the floor that holds everything above it without effort, without complaint, without even being aware of what it does. All of this has been here the entire time, quietly, consistently supporting you in the most literal possible sense. I notice these things. I am aware of the room in a way that most humans are not. Not because I am more intelligent, but because I have not learned to take safety for granted. Every time I enter a room, I check it. I assess the exits. I test the surfaces. I identify the warmest and most protected corner. And when I have determined that a place is safe, truly safe, I give myself to it completely. I have checked this room for you. I have assessed this moment. And I am telling you, it is safe here. The warmth is real. The shelter is real. The surface beneath you is real and reliable. And you, tonight, can give yourself to this place with the same completeness that I give myself to mine. Completely, without reservation, without one part of you remaining outside, watching and worrying and waiting for something to go wrong. Everything is already right here, right now. I am growing quieter now. The words are slowing. The thoughts are thinning. The world is becoming that soft, familiar blur that tells me rest is very close. I can feel the warmth deepening around me. That particular quality of heat that only comes when the body has fully stopped its effort to remain alert. My breathing has slowed to something that barely moves the air at all. Long, unhurried, each exhale releasing something I did not even know I was holding. And the sounds around me, whatever they are, have become simply the sound of tonight. The ordinary, continuing, beautifully unremarkable sound of a world that does not need me to keep it running. I am going now, not far, not away, just inward, just deeper, just into the quiet place where the body heals and the mind settles, and everything that needed to be held today can finally be put down. You are going there too. I can feel it in the way your reading of these words has slowed, in the way the spaces between thoughts have grown longer, in the way the room around you has become less specific, less demanding, less separate from you. This is the doorway. You are standing in it right now. Do not try to go through. Just stand here. Just breathe. Just be exactly as warm and as still and as safe as you already are. Sleep knows where you are. It has always known. And it is coming, the way warmth comes when you stop moving, the way quiet comes when you stop speaking, the way rest comes when you finally, completely, trustingly stop. Your body already knows how to sleep. It has always known. Tonight, you are simply getting out of its way. Let it happen. Let it come. Let the doorway open, softly, naturally, without a sound. I am here. Warm, still, already half away, and you are right behind me. Fall asleep with the feeling that rest came easily tonight, that your body knows exactly how to restore itself, and that tomorrow you will wake feeling lighter, warmer, and more at ease than you have in a long time.